Alright, in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can use Serum 2 to chop up aiming breaks like this. I'll show you easy steps you can follow along to chop up the breaks, add effects and macros, and create automation all within Serum 2. Alright, so first up, load up Serum and then look for your favorite drum break. If you're looking for drum breaks, I got a free sample pack for some classic breaks. I'm going to be using some breaks from the 𝗙𝗙𝗟𝗡𝗙 Volume 2 sample pack, which just came out recently. It's also available as a bundle at a discount. Another really good pack is the 𝗙𝗙𝗪𝗘𝗘 sample pack if you're looking for raw jungle breaks, but let's just look for a break in this pack. I'm gonna try this one, and what you want to do in Serum is that change the engine. You see there's 5 different types of engine. The sample one is the one that allows us to chop in breaks, and you can drag sample directly in here, and then you can start slicing it up. What you want to do is then right click, and then you want to either choose slice auto, tries to look for the transients of the break. However, if it's not finding it, you can use this slider and it'll look for them. This is the sensitivity slider to look for transients. Otherwise, you can use the manual mode and add your own slices just like that. We'll just use auto mode. It is pretty good most of the time. You can use your mouse wheel to jog in as well, and you can fine tune if you want to adjust any of the slices. Then you just move the manual mode and then move the slices on its own. I just like the slices to be snapped on to the beginning of each hit, namely the transients, right? So this one is a bit off, so I want to make that in so it's nice and tight. All right, so we have the break mapped, and then you can now play with your MIDI controller if you like. You can right click, it's showing that it's mapped to C1, and you just have to enable your controller to C1. But what I want to do is then move this into its own clip. So what I would do is right click on the sample and then choose send to selected clip. You can choose the clip you want. Mine is defaulted to clip 1, and then you can launch the clip. Here's the thing is that if you have slices that you want to pitch up, you may want to add a tail at the end of each slice. So if you click on this drop down, you can then choose tail. So it then creates a tail extending the slice, right? So this is helpful if you're pitching it up. It'll just make it sound smoother as opposed to no tail. There's other ways to do it where you can reverse forward and reverse, where it plays forward and reverse. Create some glitchy effects with the break. You can change the range of the scan mode. The scan mode is how fast it's playing the sample. So the higher scan rate, the higher the pitch. So if I move the semitone back here, right? So if you change this to 800%, you can really pitch it up. Really cool for making glitched out sounding breaks. By the way, if you want to be able to chop the breaks right away, I've done all the tedious work for you by chopping up the breaks, setting the macros, and creating patterns. You can find this in my Junglism Serum pack, which has tons of breaks and even bass presets mapped in this way, which allows you to create jungle on the fly. Here's one pattern, can aim in sick. I'm gonna play it with some bass sounds. You can show the macros here. This text step switch up too. So that's using these macros which are baked in. Gives you that old school 90s vibe. I have a shaker layer here. You can change the pitch of the shaker, which is really cool. For a more old school kind of 𝗙𝗘𝗘 sound, you can increase the redux. This redux for the aiming will also give you that 𝗙𝗘𝗘 sound. Oh, sounds super nice when you do the text step switch up. So super fun. If you want more of these breaks, check out my Jungleism Serum 2 preset pack. Links down below. All right, so we have the pattern here. From here, what I'd like to do is create some basic patterns. This has the default pattern. Next step is I might want to create a pattern that starts with the snare. So I could take this section, clip 2, and just paste it. Just launch it. And I'll do one of these. I call this the 𝗙𝗙𝗘𝗘 pattern. So if you click Control, click and drag, it will copy the slices. All right, you can rename them. I'll call this original. I'll call this Apache. Let's make another one. I'll call this one. Maybe we'll do a 𝗙𝗢𝗢𝗪 pattern. So you can take the original, paste it in here, and take this out. I don't want to double kick. So you can do this. Just use the hi-hat there. Right, and then you can do that. Just take out that last hit. All right, so we have 3 patterns here which could intermingle. You could chop and rearrange and make new patterns just by combining any 3 of these hits. Now, if you have a MIDI controller, these clips are mapped to -2 of your controller. You'll have to go to the very last octave. But once you mapped it, you can then trigger these patterns. Now, there's a few settings on the sequencer you need to adjust in order to make the clips play properly and in time. The first thing you want to do is that all these settings are particular to each pattern. So each pattern can have completely different settings here. Is what might throw you off if you're creating a preset. What you want to do is click Edit All. What this happens is when you change a parameter, it changes the parameter for all the clips. So this is very important. Next up, you want to do is turn on retrigger mode. That'll ensure that every time you hit the key, it'll start the clip from the beginning. Next is your launch quantize. I'm not a great player, so it's hard for me to get it at 1/16. So I like setting it at 1/8. That tends to make the clips sound more together and synced when you're chopping between clips. So now when I hit it, see, it sounds like it's chopping. I'm chopping between these 3 patterns. So you want to make sure those settings are on. And from there, you can make additional clips. So you might want to make a stutter one, which is fun. If you add a stutter, just add a snare like that. You can even copy and just hit duplicate by Control D, and then so that's a stutter. Just make sure all the settings are the same. Yeah, it is. And then you can use that as a stutter. I like to add an even faster stutter. So if you go here, you can add 32s. If you click here, change it to 32s. That'll make it an even faster stutter. So now you have this, you can do that. See how I'm playing it on the keyboard and switching between these 5 patterns. From here on in, you can add macros. I like adding a filter, and I set it at low pass 24. Bring the drive up if you like. Right. And then I like to use the mod wheel to control the filter cutoff. Drag that there, adjust the resonance, and now you can do some interesting filter rolls. Those are always fun to do, especially live. Other things you could do, you can go to the effects and bump up the distortion, and then use the macros to map the distortion drive. You can use this and call it drive. Oftentimes, combination of increasing drive and filter sounds really good on the break. Another handy modulation is mapping the pitch wheel to the scan mode. So this is really cool because then you can do reverse hits when the scan rate is set to negative. So you have to go into the modulation matrix, choose pitch bend, and then we'll choose oscillator A's scan rate, which is over here, and bump it up to maximum. I think you'll have to set the polarity to bipolar, so it goes in both ways. And let's just make sure this works. You play the hits. What I'm doing is I'm moving the pitch wheel up, and that pitches it up. But when you pitch it down, first it pitches down, but after a certain point, it then reverses the hits, which is really cool. reverses are important in jungle breaks. So using that technique will allow you to have some really strong vocabulary when you're doing the breaks live. Here's another really super cool trick to mangle up your pattern. So you see these little two flags here. Now, one of them is for the sample offset, meaning it'll change the start position of your break. So right now it's starting the beginning when I hit the pattern. But if you set this over here, then it's going to start at the snare. The really cool thing here is if you right click it, you can then set a macro to the sample offset, and we'll set it to macro 2, which hasn't been used yet. Now you have to make sure the quantize is either an 1/8 or a quarter. I find 16 sometimes you get glitches, and you'll also get silence when the offset is set in these positions in between where there's actually no note, which is why I like 1/8 notes. And then from here you can use the macro. I actually show the macros here. We'll call this sample offset. And what this does now is that it moves the position of this pattern. So you can use this to chop up the breaks just by using this. Now, if you want it on the other clips, I believe you have to do it individually and just set each of those flags to the macro. If you map it from the very first clip and then create new clips by copying the clips, then it'll copy that automation over, right? So really neat way to start chopping. So try that out. And one final thing, the macros and other parameters can actually be automated per clip. So if you click on this plus sign, you can go into the macros. You can choose macro 1. And maybe for this one, you want to slowly increase that distortion. So now when you play this clip, it's going to increase the drive. Maybe you want a stutter to have the filter baked in. So you can choose MIDI. And then choose the mod wheel, which is over here. Just add another point. All right, so now these are baked in when you play the clips. Now, because I've set the filter to go all the way down here, when I play these new clips, it's messed up now. So you'll have to then create a macro 2 and just reset it, put the filter back all the way up, or you may have to just manually do it on your controller. Just be mindful of that when you bake the modulation in, it might mess it up when you switch between clips. Now, I personally don't like to bake in the automation, so I removed it because it does throw you off when you're switching between patterns. But what I like to do is then map these macros to your controller. So to map it, make sure your MIDI controller is connected. Simply all you can do is click a MIDI learn and then turn the knob you want to control it. And now I'm spinning on my knob and it's controlling the drive. Similarly, I can map this as well, just MIDI learn, and I'm going to turn the other knobs. So now I have 2 knobs dedicated to various macros. And now this gives me a lot of control to manipulate my break because now I have pitch wheel, mod wheel, and 2 macros. All right, so let's try messing with the patterns and the macros, and this should give us a lot of control. Just really bare bones showing you what this could do. Hopefully you guys can get the message, but really lots of control you can have with Serum 2 when you're mangling breaks. A really good use of its sampler. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this quick and dirty Serum 2 tutorial. Just wanted to throw in some tips there to help you along with Serum 2, especially if you like creating jungle. If you want to support this channel directly, check out deviantaudio.com for sample packs, preset packs, and Ableton kits to help you along your journey. You can learn more down in the links below. For more jungle production videos, check this playlist up here. To learn more about drum and bass drum programming, check this playlist up here. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Until the next video, stay creative and peace out.